Hey guys, Scott Fishman here with a great guest. Today we have one half of the Good Brothers who's set to make his MLW debut along with Karl Anderson November 20th. Um, Luke, sorry, Luke. Doc, how you doing today? Gotta
I'm
be
doing
careful
great,
here. I don't want
man.
to get sued.
No, yeah, none of us do, right? I'm doing great, man. Doing great. Looking forward to the MLW debut coming up November the 20th in Charleston. Tickets on sale now. They started just 15 bucks. Going to be a great night of action. We've been going everywhere. Just got home from England, headed out to the West Coast and then down to Mexico this week, then a couple shows in Georgia. But we have never been in an MLW ring. We had a podcast on MLW. So we're marking things off the list we haven't done yet, and this is one that's been on there for a long time, and it's lined up, and we're very excited about it. The Skyscrapers are a great team, MLW Tag Team Champions. That's one we don't have on the mantle, so a lot coming up.
Yeah, I feel like, recently you guys have really jumped into it. I mean, is it by design that you kind of had this smaller break where now it's more like hitting the ground running? Why is now kind of the time for you guys to really go full throttle?
Because I have a cat all over me. Excuse me.
No problem.
um, we went from like 9 or 10 contracts in a row, which is a blessing in this business. It really is. But kind of where we were on somebody else's schedule, kind of where we were told what was going to happen, what we were going to do. So to take the bull by the horns, to go out on our own and to go places where we want to go, to show up when we want to show up, it's a blessing, man. We're not under contract anywhere. We're not obligated. We're not paid by WWE, AEW, TNA, New Japan Pro Wrestling. We're not affiliated with any of these places right now for the first time in a lot of years, and it's nice to be able to go and do and say things that you please. So it's very exciting.
It almost when you think about, there's guys on the independent scene in the singles ranks, but when it comes to tag teams, either tag teams may split and go their separate ways. We've seen the Hardy Boys do something similar to this years ago.
Yeah.
How is it for you to kind of on the being a tag team and kind of going places? I mean, is it different than, being a singles competitor? Because you guys are trying to get booked together, and sometimes maybe promoters are like, okay, now I gotta consider how am I going to fund this sort of
Well,
thing.
yeah, it is double trouble in the funding department, but Carl and I are we're business partners in wrestling and outside of wrestling. We're best buddies. And we're an act, and I think that people are the most familiar with us as an act. We enjoy traveling together. We enjoy taking these bookings, setting these things up in all these different places. And I think it is unique because there's a lot of singles people out there doing it. The Matt Cardonas, um, Shotzi Blackheart, Gigi Dolan, killing it in the women's division as singles, and we're kind of one of the only tag teams doing it and just going everywhere. So it's definitely by design. We're picking back up into our Talking Shop podcast. We go live there tonight for the first time after Dynamite 10:10 p.m. The links are on all the socials, but yeah, it's a Good Brother revival, I guess, and it's a great thing. I'm enjoying it.
What is it about you two coming together? I mean, being together for so long as a tag team, it's like I can liken it to like a band,
Yeah.
staying together after all these years. You've been through so much. I mean, it's such a rare thing. You have these tag teams that are thrown together and then, they dissipate and we always see the person turn on each other. But for you guys,
Sure.
you've been the one constant. I mean, talk a little bit about that. Have there ever been talks about kind of going a separate way, or it's always been like, this is what we want to do. We are here because you have to be a little selfless in a lot of ways, I think, as a tag team. You lean on each other and sort of things, but who gets the spotlight, who doesn't? But it seems like you share it in such a great way, and you found that right chemistry, which is so hard to do. So after all this time, talk about just that bond that you share and how it's been able to continue inside and outside the ring, as you mentioned.
Well, we've never had a breakup on TV. We the one time ever that I don't know if anybody remembers it, but it got a great reaction when they were doing the silly 24/7 title stuff. He grabbed the title, I grabbed the title, and it got a hell of a reaction on Raw. That was the only time it's ever been teased. So that's a whole nother portion to a story that could be told somewhere. But there's a lot of unfinished stories with us. But on the other end, we're real life friends. We're buddies. We know each other's kids. We stay at each other's homes on the road. We have our Talking Shop podcast together. We learn to invest together. Just so many things, and the bond is real. And everywhere we've gone together. So every time you're facing something new or a new challenge, new opportunity, whatever it may be, we had the other one to lean on. So I think we're actually fortunate in that way. And a lot of guys don't get along that well. I mean, when you think about teams that stayed together for a really long time and are still active, you got maybe Young Bucks, who are buddies of ours, and they're real life brothers, and the Hardys, they're real life brothers. Other than that, there aren't a lot of them out there.
Yeah, it's definitely a rare breed. I'm
Yeah.
curious, at this stage of your career, you're seeing a good friend of yours, AJ Styles, deciding to, on top of his game, like you look at AJ and he's doing some of his best work, but now he's
Yeah.
taking a step, back because of family and kids and things like that. And he doesn't want to, I don't know if to use the word embarrass himself, he thought, which I don't see him ever doing. But
No.
how do you guys take that in? Does it make you guys think of your own end game? I mean, talk a little bit about that.
We don't see an end game in sight right now. We wanted to be back out working. I mean, no one dwells on the past, and there's no ill will against WWE, but there wasn't a lot with the new management changes and stuff this last go round for us to get our creative juices flowing too much. So, idle time was our biggest enemy. We were ready to get out and do something, and that's why we wanted to take the world by storm. As far as AJ goes, one of the best to ever do it, undeniably. Do I fully believe he'll retire? Not 100%. I mean, we were in the ring in Europe for his last retirement, and he didn't end up retiring. And then that storyline didn't even really play out. It just led to a one-off match with Cody Rhodes, I believe. So I think that AJ stepping away for the family is a great thing. I don't know if he's going to step away, how long he'll be able to stay away, I guess is a better way to put it. Because once this is in your blood and it's something that you love to do, it's really hard to get rid of. I mean, we're just as motivated now as we were when we were, 18, 19 years old seeing this stuff for the first time. So
Yeah. Well, if it is a lot, hopefully you guys are part of it somehow next year because you guys shared so much together.
it's an unfinished story, whatever finish. And here's the other thing. It doesn't have to finish there. It could finish anywhere. It could finish at MLW. It could finish in Japan. I mean, people know the story. It's gone across different companies. So
Hmm.
there's a lot there, a lot of
And I,
opportunity.
yeah, I think what's great as you're in the landscape of wrestling on independent scene or other companies is they are willing to collaborate. A lot of companies are willing to collaborate and share, and it's such a great time for fans and wrestlers like yourself to be out there and kind of make some matches a reality. The red tape isn't, as prominent as it was back in the day for the most part. So that's really cool to see.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you 100%. I mean, you see all these companies like and then major companies too, like MLW, and then we just debuted for the NWA. Years ago, a lot of these companies didn't commingle. We're going down to Mexico for the Crash on Friday for a huge show down there. We have a big surprise debut coming up somewhere. But all these things are able to happen under this umbrella of the Good Brothers now, and I think that that's really cool. It's a great time for wrestling fans because these dream matches you never imagined, you can see them in all different pockets of the world right now, and it's a very cool thing for, yeah, again, for wrestlers and for fans, 100%.
Is there a match out there, given the talent out there, that you guys want to book and you're kind of putting that into the universe?
It's funny because when you look at the landscape of guys who are out there like us right now, we had our eyes on this skyscraper team that was formed in MLW. It's two of the biggest free agents in the game, and then they walked in and won the titles while we were still trying to kind of negotiate and figure out how to come into MLW. And we were like, well, I mean, shit, that that writes itself. The Good Brothers versus the Skyscrapers, the Don Gato Tequila Special for MLW, November 20th in Charleston. Really excited about that one for sure. And we just won tag team titles in Florida at ALW. We won them at AAW in Chicago. We're 3-0 at Rev Pro in the UK after our return. We got our sights set on those titles. So we're doing a little belt collecting right now as well. And definitely the MLW tag team titles, the NWA tag team titles. We have our sights set on all those. So a lot coming up.
Yeah, and I think what's cool about the skyscrapers, it's almost like a throwback because these are their
100%.
the big man. I don't think is celebrated enough in the traditional sense. I mean, these guys do some great things, but overall, these larger than life characters, they talk about the airport test. We kind of got away from that a little bit over time, but looking at guys like yourselves and them, like yourself and them, it's interesting. So it'll be an interesting match for sure, I think. And I think there's a sense of when you leave a WWE, there's always a sense of proving yourself. Like you have a chip on
Yeah,
your shoulder. Like you want to show,
100%.
look what you're missing out on. So I think
Yeah.
all four of you have that. So it's like a shared bond experience, right?
We all have that, and we worked with Tom P. Stock, Baron Corbin a little bit in WWE. Never touched Dijak. I booked him down here on my independent years ago because I thought he was so promising before he was really contracted anywhere. But it's interesting to bring up the big guys because for a while it seemed like the era of the big man was completely dead. But then you see two really athletic big guys like those guys who can do incredible stuff, and yeah, it's fun. It's a new challenge. Carl's not usually the small man in the ring, but he will be for this one. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's a hell of a test. So, and I know those guys, even as title holders, they have a chip on their shoulder as well. They're looking to prove something. So, it's a
Yeah.
recipe for a hell of a match, I think.
And it's hard to build a tag division as we've seen in WWE. It's like
Yeah.
they only focus on a certain amount. I mean, where do you kind of see the landscape? I love the fact that MLW is bringing in other tag teams like yourselves to kind of, boost the roster of tag teams. But talk about just the challenges of the tag team division when you're a promoter and you're looking to build it out, and what is it about that it just seems like it'll be a moment where it's such a hot streak and then it'll just go back down. It's not like we'll see like a consistency is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
So
I think it goes back to the old Vince McMahon thing, and I heard this years ago that he didn't think a tag team had drawn money since the Road Warriors or something like that, which I disagreed with, and I think that the dynamic of a tag match can be so exciting to have on a show. We always have one or two tag matches on any show that we're promoting ourselves, especially because it's a different dynamic. It's something different to see. And I think that promoted right, tag teams do draw money and it's a proven entity. And I mean, hell, we've done it in different parts of the world a lot of times. And you can continue to do it. It just, wrestling's flavors of ice cream. I think it's like the circus. If you don't like the bearded lady, you don't like the guy walking on the tightrope, maybe you like the guy getting shot out of the cannon. You have to have a little variety and something for everybody. And I think that, tag team wrestling something that's a big part of that.
yeah, I want to get your thoughts on Tanahashi's retirement too, because do you have an idea? Being a fan,
Hmm.
in addition to a colleague, what do you see as his final opponent? Like, who would you want to see him face?
So I was talking about the Tanahashi retirement and not so much the final opponent the other day. Um, I guess in my head I would still see it as Okada, but
Hmm.
um, the only thing that I think is kind of a shame is you have three of the biggest, most influential superstars in the history of our business, especially the modern history of our business, and they're all basically retiring within the same timeline. And you hate to think that one outshadows the other, but we're talking about Tanahashi, AJ Styles, and John Cena. You almost wish, and that's time's not always your friend, but you almost wish they could be staggered so you could kind of appreciate each one as a fan in a
Yeah,
different way, and one doesn't outshine another. Obviously Cena gets a ton of focus, but people have to give the nod to AJ Styles and Tanahashi in Japan, especially for the road that they've paved and what they've done for the business in the last couple of decades.
yeah. But it's also great the fact that they are going to be celebrated in a strategic way where, wrestlers, they'll just have their last match and then that'll be it. I mean,
That's
it's
it.
been that
Yeah.
way forever. So there's
Yeah.
both sides of the coin, right?
100%. And it's always interesting for me. It's the old, I love Terry Funk growing up, but does anybody really retire? Are all these guys going to be finally done? That's interesting to see too.
Yeah, 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 for sure. What is there anything different about your presentation you want to tease about the Good Brothers when it comes to MLW? Are you trying to give it a different feel, or is it kind of just sticking to what works?
I think just look for what works, but yeah, it's got a different flavor to it. If you've seen us out in the wild, as I call it right now, it's a little bit different. We still have the greatest hits, but there's a different presentation, a different flair to us. There's a gear change, and that's what's needed because you need to constantly update yourself in this business. We've ran into both sides of it because some people want to see the old school Bullet Club version of us, where we're like, yeah, that was cool. We did that. That was dominating. Look at this new version of the Good Brothers. So that's part of the fun of this challenge that we're in right now as well.
Yeah, for sure. And lastly, just what when it comes to your future, you mentioned you're having the time of your life being your own
Mhm.
boss, going to all these companies. Are you looking for one last full-time run somewhere to kind of show that,
It's
or
we-
is it kind of
it's
wait and
weird. I
see?
was literally before we jumped on here, I was looking at our scheduling for the rest of this year and going into next year, and people. people prioritize or characterize a run by like these weird dimensions, but like Carl and I have 15 bookings in the month of November. That's insane. We're two of the most
And a
busiest guys.
holiday month too. That's
Two of
even
the
more
busiest
insane.
guys in the business, and December's the same way. And then, the issue we're having, and we're very fortunate to have it, is people are already asking like, they're trying to book you a year out. It's great. It's a great problem to have, but you have to go, well, hell, hold on. I don't know where I'm going to be or what I'm going to be doing a year from now. You have to give me a second on that. So I feel like we're in the middle of a hell of a run right now, and it's fun to see which one of these things kicks off the most. And I think that the MLW show, I've been familiarizing myself with the product a lot. And there's a lot of ground to be gained there. That's a fun show to watch. It's all over the place. It's wild. It's what I love about pro wrestling because you do have a little bit of everything there. So I think that big things are in store for a lot of these companies, and we're pumped to be a part of it. This is a run right now.
Yeah, Court Bauer is very aggressive when it comes to what's next, the next step,
Yes,
and making going and you being a part of something that from the ground up and seeing it expand and explode will be a pretty gratifying thing. So I think
100%.
making a smart move, bringing guys like yourself in for sure.
Oh, we love it. We're happy to be a part of it. So yeah, I appreciate you having me on this morning, and make sure that you tune in MLW Thursday, November the 20th, Charleston, South Carolina. Tickets start at just 15 bucks. They're still available. Danny McBride's Don Gatto tequila. I'm a fan of both, so it's going to be great.
Yep. And for those that can't make it, I mean, it's insane though, the price, $15 when you think of $1,200 at WWE show for
I
some.
mean, that's the other thing. I mean, just to touch on briefly, I think that the TKO move has helped these other companies a ton because people now have a reason to really look for this alternative for it to be family friendly. So you can go and bring the kids and buy a souvenir, and it's getting eyes on all this other stuff. So wrestling is healthy as a whole. I feel like
Yeah, and getting that quality product as well. Not only just get you
100%.
get a lot more bang for your buck, and then you can also tune in on YouTube and be in sports as well. Thank you so much for the time. I really appreciate it. It was great talking to you.
Yep. Thanks for having me, Scott. Always great to talk to you.